Oh my goodness. Happy Thursday to you guys. What a Thursday it has been. It's still Thursday, right? I woke up and I did not stop moving, I feel like, the entire day. And I just was like, I need to hurry up and get to Thursday at 7 o'clock so that I could hang out with you guys. That is by far my favorite thing to do every week. And so, welcome to Orlando Real Live, where we talk about all things real estate, theme parks, and living in Orlando. We already have people checking in from all over the world. And I love this part of the show because it lets me know where are you people, where are we watching from tonight? Where are people that are excited about what's going on in Orlando watching from? Because not everybody lives here. Some people live very much so, like Stephanie lives in South Carolina. We've got Tim, though, that lives in Claremont, so not just down the street. We've got Shakur living in Winter Park. We got the big, hey, Big Orange checking in from St. Charles, Illinois. Turn that down. We got Rusty checking in from Ohio, and Pickles checking in from Mineola, one of my favorite new places in all of Central Florida. Joseph hanging out at Eastern North Carolina. So you guys know the drill. Please keep dropping where you're watching from down below. It definitely helps us curate our news stories and also all the other content that we do over on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts now. If you're watching here, I started uploading little short news segments almost on a daily basis. And so I hope you're enjoying that. And this all comes right from you guys, where you're watching from and what you're interested in. As we do every Thursday, we'll also love to kind of tick into what is important to you guys. And we already have people asking questions regarding builders and areas, and let's keep those things coming on. I've actually already curated a little bit of news as well, both from the theme park, the real estate, and the living in Orlando sector. So we're going to get to these and kind of just hang out with you guys. So welcome. I so appreciate you guys being here. One of the first questions we have already, Michael is asking, hey, Ken, thoughts on Mattamy Homes? I think they're building near Claremont and East Orlando, but the reviews didn't look good. The more I look, not many builders did. That's the point that I really want to drive home, Michael, is that most builders have bad reviews online. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, if people are happy with a builder, then they don't comment online. And if they hate the builder or have even a little bit of a so-so opportunity with the builder where things could have just maybe done a little bit better, they go online and hammer them pretty hard. And so it's really rare for you to see builders with great reviews. I will say that Mattamy Homes is they're building over in Island Village rather, in Celebration. They're building really all over Central Florida. They have, at one time, I think they're one of the largest landowners for a private builder in Central Florida as well. So we're seeing a lot of their product. And I will say that in some neighborhoods, I love their stuff. In other neighborhoods, maybe the standard is maybe not where I would want it to be. But with any builder, I feel like they have their pluses and minuses. Some of them are going to be more affordable. And so because of that, they have a lower quality. And in other neighborhoods, like say Island Village, you expect a really good product. And Mattamy Homes, I think, in Island Village has delivered a really good product. I think it holds up to David Weekley, who is their predecessor in Celebration for new construction. And so if you're looking for them, I think that there's just some, go tour some of the houses that are under construction. If you go to a builder, and thank you for the question, by the way, if you go to a builder and they're like, hey, check out our model home, they're only going to show you the most dialed in, fantastic house with so many amenities, and you're going to fall in love. And that's good, right? But then you also want to ask the question is, can I see a house that's under construction? Maybe it's the model you're like, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like, hey, let me go tour and find out like what it looks like at different stages of the process. And that's going to give you an idea of, do they keep their work site clean? Are they, how are their trades overall? And then maybe, walk around. This is a little secret. Maybe walk around after the sales center has closed and talk to some of the neighbors, people that have moved in recently, and ask them their experience with the builder. And you're going to find out the good, bad, and ugly very quick. Some people are going to say, hey, this was the best experience ever. And other people are going to say, hey, this is where they fell short. You can also reach out to my team, because that's what we do. We help people on the new construction side and help kind of keep you updated, give you insights into new construction and what's coming. Speaking of which, actually, that's maybe one of the first things I would love to talk about tonight. Let's talk about, I'm like going old school on this little camera here. Sorry. Share screen. I had this whole thing set up. It worked so well. And then boom, there we go. All right. So if you guys don't know EverBe, this was actually a release from their their VIP event today. They're setting up VIP appointments. And if you don't know where EverBe is, this is actually right off the 417 over kind of in between Hunters Creek and Lake Nona. It's, I think, a really great area just because it is a bit in no man's land. And if you want something newer than Hunters Creek, but then cheaper than Lake Nona, EverBe by Pulte is going to be something that you should probably consider. And so they had a VIP section today where they're going through talking about what's coming and the pricing on the different stuff. And so here's a little bit of insight. This is like fresh off the paces here. This is provided from Dylan on my team. So they had properties that were ranging kind of in that 16 to 1,800 square feet. It looks like pricing in the entire neighborhood is kind of high 300s to high 600s for the base prices, depending on what you're looking for. And so the legacy series, the forever series, those are ones that are going to be a little bit more expensive. They're also going to be some of the larger houses, but those are going to be 2,300 all the way up to over 3,000 square feet. And those are going to be the ones that are over 600. But what if you are in the 400s? Well, they've got options for you. And this, again, base price doesn't include lot premium, does not include your upgrades, but they have houses that are going to be kind of in that 2,200 square foot range, 1,800 to 2,200 square foot range. And so we've been waiting on pricing for this for a really long time. This is something that if you've visited the show, watched anything like what's going to go on with EverBe, it's a massive new neighborhood, and the piece of land that they've taken down to turn into a neighborhood, I think is interesting. But speaking of the warranty and what's the process, I think this is another big one for people to talk about. The warranty, this is for the neighborhood. They actually, a 1-2-10, before I explain this, a 1-2-10 is like the standard builder warranty. It's like 1 year bumper to bumper. Anything that you find, a drawer breaks, there's, you find scuffs, you find tile issues. In the first year, everything's covered. The 2 is anything walls in, stuff that you can't see at a final walkthrough. Plumbing goes bad, electrical goes bad. Anything really gets covered, that's within 2 years. And then every builder offers typically a 10-year structural warranty. So the framing goes bad, the block goes bad, anything like, concrete, if you can fit more than, I think, typically 3 or 4 quarters inside a crack, they'll cover it. But this neighborhood is offering something new that I haven't seen a lot of builders do. And this is the 5-year. So you can see here, they offer covers various types of water infiltration and internal leaks. Now, why is that important? Well, if you live in Florida, we have so much stucco here. We have so many different things that could cause leaks in the house. And so they're just trying to say, hey, listen, we got your back a little bit longer and a little bit wider than many of the builders out there. And I think that's a good thing. And so that's cool. Let's see what else we got here. So you look at where, there we go, over. Missed my little clicker. I had this whole thing. I'll show you guys a little inside baseball. I have this really cool Stream Deck, and I can change cameras and look at different views and different monitors. And it crapped out on me like right before we went live, which is why I was a minute or two late. I had to go old school with my computer. Anyways, you guys don't care. But all right. So this is kind of the Aurora series. This is their first section. They got the Aurora series, Ember, Haven, Forever, and Legacy. So it's, again, very similar to what we see here in Central Florida. You've got the estate houses on the outside, and then the smaller houses on the inside, and then the townhouses kind of lumped together at the front. So this is going to be the first phase. I think it's exciting when you think overall, finally, this neighborhood's been coming online. We've been talking about it for years and years. So let me know down below. What do you guys, is this something that you'd consider or not? Let me check in with a couple other people over here. We've got John Hester from Celebration. Good to see you, my friend. We've got Michael checking in from Maitland, who asked just a great question a minute ago. Sharon from Georgia. We've got people from Soto. What's up, Elwin? That's a cool name. I dig that name quite a bit. We've got Doctor checking in from Buffalo, New York. We got Capstone from Athens, Alabama. You talked to Liz yesterday. That's awesome. Liz knows Claremont, so that is awesome. Kelly's checking in from Louisville. She said, yo, Ken, what's going on? A lot of other people checking in. It's so cool. Shakur says, hey, did you see the 2024 U.S. Olympic team trials is coming to Orlando? I'm excited. Yeah, they have shown some renderings of what this is going to look like. And so this is going to go all the way from, Orlando all the way to Paris. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, Olympic trials. If you haven't seen this is actually next year, February. This is coming up really, really soon. And so the organizers got together just a couple of days ago, and they were talking about what is all of this going to look like. And so this is actually outside of the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center downtown. And this is where the Olympic team trials for for marathon is going to be in Orlando. It's going to be Olympic team trials are going to be held in downtown on February 3rd of 2024. And the top finishers will represent Team USA at the Olympic Games in Paris. Organizers announced at the City Hall, they announced it at the City Hall Rotunda, but they're going to be running through downtown Orlando. And I'm really excited. I think from what I hear, they're actually going to leave it up as well, Shakur, and they're going to kind of let other people run the track. So as a runner myself, I'm kind of excited to be able to, like, after everybody kind of cleans up a little bit, to go run the same track that the Olympic trials were part of. That seems kind of cool to me. What's going on, Shell from Michigan? We've got a lot of people checking in today. It means so much. Big Orange says, hey, is the new connection to Western Way started at the end of Palms of Serenoa? Will this subdivision be the only 5-10 minutes from Coronado and Disney immediate area? Well, while I check to see, I mean, timing wise, let's see what this is going to be. The best way to figure out timing wise is like Ovation at like Horizon West Ovation. Let's see. And how long would that take to get to the Coronado? That's what you're asking. Let us see. Let's see. This is fine set together. But while I'm figuring this out, Big Orange, no, they have not started it. It looks like they're going to start it sometime in 2020, late 24, early 25, and make that connection road. And they're going to expand it quite a bit. So I think that's going to be a good thing for all of us. Let's see. Everybody's anticipation, waiting. It's a 12-minute drive, my friend. So that is pretty darn close. Yes, it will be 10 to 15 minutes from Palms of Serenoa in Claremont to the Coronado. But here's the crazy thing is right now it might take you 30 minutes because that extension doesn't happen. The amount of extension roads coming to Claremont to connect over into Horizon West and ultimately the Disney property is going to be an absolute game changer for that area. Now, will it add more traffic to Horizon West in the Flamingo Crossing and some of these other areas? Yeah, of course. But it'll also let me, who lives in the Winter Garden area, be able to go check out Lake County a little bit easier. And that I'm excited about. Let's see. We got checkout. Tim says, hey, what's up, Tim from Wisconsin, super host of short-term rental at Lake Berkeley, Kissimmee. Thanks to Sarah Simmons of your team who helped me last November. What's on, man? Congratulations. I remember the photo and congratulations. I'm super host. You mean you're doing pretty well. That's exciting. Let's see. Adrian says, how come nobody answers the phone at your office? Don't mean to be rude. If you're calling the 813 number, that's our office. We get 7 days a week coverage from 9 to 5. If you're calling outside of those times, that could be why. Mount Laurel asks, what's affordable near Lockheed Martin? Now I'm guessing that you mean Lockheed Martin off of Sand Lake in like the Dr. Phillips area. And then we also have to quantify what does affordable actually mean. And so for me, I think that the average price point would benchmark what's affordable and what's not. And so anything under the average price point might be a little bit more affordable, and anything over the average sales price, well, it's not as affordable. So where can you find something in the 300,000 to 400,000 range that's in the Dr. Phillips area? You're probably looking over at like Williamsburg area. There's some definitely condos, townhouses, houses over in that area might be something. Dr. Phillips proper, pretty hard to find. You might find some condos that are in the 200s, but you got to watch out for the HOA fees over there, because the HOA fees there could eat you up $400, $500, $600, $800 a month, which feels to the average home buyer like an extra $100,000 in purchasing power. So something to think about right there. Let's see. Tracy says, hey, I have an Anatomy home and they did pretty good with mine. That's awesome. Matt O'Leary says he's checking in from Horizon West. Let's see. Miami Coffee says it's tech, Ken. Never any worries. Work through the issues. You're always amazing. Well, thank you so much. I so much appreciate that. Sorry, going through a lot of people checking in. Here we go. So Elwin says, any thoughts on the Dr. Phillips Center expansion proposal? Chances something like this happens? Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely is something that happens. For one, even if they don't get the tourism tax work, I think that this still happens. I think that that expansion area, and what if you saw, even if you go over to this photo, you can actually see where it's going to be. Like the lawn in front of the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center right now is just used for exactly what you see. It's more pop-up tents, and they've got stuff during the holidays. They'll do lighting installations, and just all throughout the year they use it. But eventually they're going to close this in and kind of make it more of an outdoor amphitheater with bathrooms and concession stands and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I think that it will be really well utilized. So it's a no-brainer. Like if you go over to the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center right now, the shows are generally packed. They're really well, like Orlando craves this kind of thing. And so I think the Dr. Phillips charities and City of Orlando and everybody else is going to make this happen, whether they get the tourism tax or not. How about that? Danny says, make International Drive the new Las Vegas Strip. I agree. Let's see. Missy says, hey, from South Jersey, Sweet Bree sold my house and son-in-law, beautiful house over in Horizon West last month. Well, welcome. I appreciate you coming to hang out with me tonight. Spencer, this is a great question. Spencer, the realtor, asks, do I think that home prices will grow or fall over the next 5 years in Orlando overall? I think, man, listen, I think that if you look at what the interest rate climate is doing, if that hasn't killed our market and made things pull back already, and I'll show you guys here. I mean, we can talk about this next, actually. If that hasn't pulled our market back already, then I don't know what will. I think that over the next 4 to 6 months, we're going to see interest rates hopefully pull back a little bit. I think the Fed is already kind of forecasted Q1, Q2 of next year that they'll pull that back. And if we pull that back, unfortunately, I think that we're going to have a lot more demand in the market. And because of that, we're going to see prices continue to go up. But also, I hope that we'll have more inventory, because I know a lot of my clients would love to move, but they're locked into a 4% interest rate. And so they're not going to trade a 4% interest rate for a 7.5% interest rate unless they absolutely have to. Just not going to do it. And so like me, like my wife and I, we've got like 2.5% interest rate. And we're literally right now, we just made a decision over the past month or two. We've been slowly upgrading our current house to just make it nicer, because we ain't moving. And you have a lot of people in that exact situation. Literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are in that situation. And so I don't think prices are going to drop. I don't. And so here's an interesting little stat that I think everybody should take a look at. And so if you're listening back to the podcast, what I'm showing is the Orlando Realtors kind of snapshot of the overall market. They put this out every week. It's really good data. But here's something my team and I, we go over this all the time. But here's some things to think about if you're looking strictly at real estate. And I apologize for if you're not a data nerd. I'll try to make this as interesting as possible. But if you look at the months of inventory, which is one of the most healthy signs of where we're going in a market, is the market pulling back? Is it market pulling forward? Or are we staying the same? One of the most healthy indicators is months of inventory, and it's actually continuing to decline, meaning there's fewer and fewer houses on the market to keep up with the demand from the buyers, even in interest rates right now. And so months of inventory is under two for the first time in probably 6 months. And if you look at the price points, under 250, there's only 1.5 months of supply. 250 to 300, again, under 2. 300 to 400 is the lowest. That's where the sweet spot is right now. So many buyers are in that market. And these are numbers that we haven't seen since, February of last year, when things were kind of crazy. Even 400 to 500, 1.6 months of inventory. And then it really starts kind of, picking up a little bit. 2.5 months of supply in 500 range, and then over 1 million. That's when you get to more of a balanced market. So there's basically just as many buyers hitting the market as there are, or houses hitting the market as there are buyers in the over $1 million mark. So you have to get over $1 million to find where it's pretty balanced. If you have $1 million budget, you should be able to find something that you like. Anything under, it's still a seller's market. And when it's a seller's market, things aren't falling apart and prices aren't pulling back. So that's where we're at. Mount Lawrence says, my interest rate is 1.9%. Am I jealous? Yeah, I am. I'm kind of jealous of your 1.9%, but it's still great. Congratulations. I would hang on to that house. Even if interest rates come to 4% again, or 5.5%, you hang on to that house, you rent it out. It'll cash flow probably forever, regardless of interest rates or taxes and insurance. You're going to do well there. Then you turn around and buy another one. So Alex says, can programs like the Hometown Heroes down payment loan be combined with others like the City of Orlando down payment assistance program? Alex, that's an amazing question. And if you reach out to me, I will connect you with Greg. And our in-house guy, Greg Matthews, he's like a big proponent of the Hometown Heroes program. He knows it in and out. And I'm more than happy to get that answer for you by tomorrow morning. All right, I'm going to answer more questions and get more into here, but I have a couple other things that I want to chat about, if that's okay with you guys. So where we got over here, statistics. All right. So I titled this, jobs, like what was going on in Orlando jobs and really Florida jobs and that sort of thing. So the few reports that came out this week on economic insights for Florida, unemployment, new jobs, and like the overall health of what's going on in Florida. And so, every once in a while, I'll get haters on my YouTube channel or over on Instagram. And in the comments, they'll say stuff like, oh, people are fleeing Florida and there's not a lot of people moving here anymore, which is quite the opposite. There's still so many people moving. Now, are there people leaving too? Sure, of course, like any state, but we're still one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing state. And then we also have to make sure that we have jobs to backfill this. And so what does this actually mean? And so this data from June 2023 just came out, and Florida's unemployment rate right now is 2.6%, which is still underneath the national average. And then you look at the Florida jobs gained since this time last year, it was over almost 320,000 jobs, a 3.5% increase since this time last year. And so it's been interesting, like what kind of jobs are coming, right? And we're starting to hear more and more like I've been pushing for and thankful to see more like AI focused, tech focused, healthcare focused, defense focused stuff that's a decent paying jobs in the Orlando area. And we're starting to see that more and more. I think that the city is focusing on it a bit. The counties are focusing on it and businesses are still coming here. Now, are we having our challenges because you have both sides of the aisle kind of fighting one another? And some people love what our governor's doing. Other people hate what our governor's doing. And I don't take a side. But it's interesting to see the news headlines, but I always drill down to the facts, like what is actually happening. And for us, we have a really low unemployment rate. We have way more jobs than we have people. And that's good. I think that inflation becomes the next issue, right? If people are making more and people are spending more, then everything gets more expensive. People buy houses and it's this never ending cycle. And so I think that if we can get inflation under control, which hopefully we will, that's better for everybody. But here's the thing. Here's the last thing about inflation and interest rates is like, as inflation gets solved, interest rates come down, which is great, makes houses more affordable, but you will have more demand. So many people will ask and they'll reach out like, should I wait for interest rates to come down or buy now? And here's like the definitive answer. I think this is good regardless of what climate we're in, what interest rates we're in, is can you afford it today? Then you buy. If you are stretched and you are unaffordable and you're only buying with the hope that interest rates will come down, then you need to keep renting or you need to keep staying where you're at. Because I think that that's where we start getting into issues is when people stretch beyond their limits and they're like, hey, I just want a house and hopefully this changes towards my favor. That's when we start having issues. Who knows who MrBeast is? You guys know who MrBeast is? Let me know in the comments below. My kids enjoy some MrBeast. I love MrBeast from a creator aspect because, to be honest, I think that the guy's just a genius for what he does. But this is interesting because this actually hits home for Orlando. So MrBeast, his real name is Jimmy Donaldson. He filed a lawsuit on Monday, just a couple days ago, against Virtual Dining Concepts LLC, an Orlando-based entity created by restaurateur Robert Earl of Planet Hollywood fame. And Virtual Dining Concepts is basically where they kind of basically have these little ghost kitchens set up everywhere. And if you didn't know, MrBeast had MrBeast Burger, and he basically you could buy online and then get it delivered with his branding on it, and it was doing really, really well. He also has like Feastables, which are their chocolate. It's like 5-ingredient chocolate, and they sell it everywhere now. Like every little tween and kid like loves this stuff. But they were selling burgers, and apparently the quality of the burgers got to be really, really bad. And so they shut that down. And so now he's suing the Orlando-based company to get his branding back and get his naming rights and say that, hey, the guy didn't deliver. And why am I talking about this? I think it's interesting because we have a lot of ghost kitchens here. Like my staff, they're all like obsessed with these little ghost kitchen pop-ups for like little Mexican restaurants and little Chinese restaurants. And just like they have like kind of no-name ghost kitchens, and they're apparently really good. So I tried one last week, and it's like you go in the middle of this industrial area, and it for sure feels like if you left your car there, that your tires wouldn't be there when you came home. But food's really good. And so I am curious to hear from you guys. Have you tried a ghost kitchen? Did you try MrBeast burgers, and what was your experience with it? I'm much more so the brick and mortar. I know the chef. I know the staff. It's got a good background. To me, that's important. But anyways, I would love to hear what you guys think. Alda says, yes, my kids watch him. Let's see. Matt says, my grandson's telling him about MrBeast right now. Yes. If you don't know, if you're like over 40 and you don't know who MrBeast is, ask your kids and they will know. Terrence says they need to build more White Castles in Central Florida. They are, man. They're popping up. Like there's obviously the one in O-Town West. And I think there's 2 more that are in the pipeline. I'll make sure I add that to the next show so that you know what's going on. All right, let's see. Tracy asks a good question. What builder builds homes with RV garages in Orlando right now? That's definitely going to be more of a custom conversation. I have seen some of these in St. Cloud. I've seen some of these in Kissimmee, but they were all kind of on the 10 to 15-year-old range. Production builders, I've not come to a design center and someone said, hey, we also do an RV garage. You see some of these up front, like you see the whole house and all of a sudden the garage is just huge and you could fit something in the back. You're not going to see that a lot. What I would look for is more of a custom kind of builder that can build something for you, add the RV in the back. That would be my best thing for you. Riva says, what are my thoughts on Apopka? Any news for that area? I think Apopka is very similar to Ocoee. I think it's very similar to a lot of areas that, people are drawn towards value. And so you've got a lot of new houses popping up in Apopka. You had old orange groves and all these greenhouses everywhere in Apopka that are now being torn down and converted. And so because of that, you've got a lot of more housing coming to the area. So proximity wise, Apopka is fantastic. You got the 429 that's running up right to it. You've got the whole Kelly Park area that has more retail and a lot of stuff coming to the area. And you're really equidistant to a lot of things. So from an affordability standpoint, Apopka is great. Are all of the amenities there? Are all of the municipality amenities there? Not quite yet. But again, it's very similar to many of the areas in Central Florida where you're buying into the future. Q says, get a Tesla and use my referral code. Will I go there? No, I'm not going to go there. Tracy asks, do I know any custom home builders that build an RV garage? Yeah, any custom home builder. And if you shoot me an email, like I've got 3 or 4 that I recommend, depending on the price point that you're looking for and the area of town. All right, so let me look this real quick. I've got a few other things. Oh, this is another thing. So speaking of jobs and tech hubs, this is the other piece that I wanted to share. So this is a thing that came out of UCF today. So Orlando ranks number 9 for fastest growing tech hubs nationally. So located in Orlando's thriving tech industry, UCF helps produce top talent for innovative developments that drive this sector. And so they were going through and looking at, Orlando's job growth and where do they feel like by 2023 that's actually going to be more in the tech sector based on the amount of jobs that are being created and then also kids that are going to school. And so it was really interesting to see just kind of like our schools locally catering towards this and not just towards hospitality. Like we have a hospitality college at UCF. Oh, that's hard today. They've got entertainment. They've got all of these other kind of things, which are great and amazing because we are a theme park and hospitality hub. And you also want to draw those jobs in, draw the talent in of these higher paying jobs so that we can continue to level up as a city. And so ranking number 9, I was actually kind of going through how many cities did they rank completely? Like, is this top 25? They ranked 25 cities. Was it 100 or 200? That wasn't in the study. But to see that, again, more people are focusing in on some of these tech jobs, I think this is great. Alan says he's checking in from Eastwood over in Alafaya, and you're living the dream. Dude, that's so cool. Congratulations. I love that area. I love that area for sure. All right, here we go. Somebody checking in. My daughter loves the Beast. White Castle's double cheeseburger. Oh, my daughters love the Beast. MrBeast, yes. And White Castle double cheeseburgers and the Louisville Gatto late night snack. This is true. This is true. White Castle does hit at a certain time of the evening. Let's see. Here's another one I've been talking about real estate wise, and this has to do with Winter Park. Let me show you this. So you guys know what build to rent is. We've been talking about this for the past year. There's more and more builders that are leaning towards this idea of, instead of building a massive apartment community, let's start building houses and let's start building townhouses, and not to sell, but because we want to lease them out, package them up, and sell them off. And what does that do to community when you think, and comparatively, those could technically be for sale, and then have that person build equity right off the interest, build a little bit more community. Now, I think that rentals in general, like I own a bunch of rentals. I think that 35% of Orlando are renters. It's great. Like some people need to do that and want to do that. But I think that the more of these that get approved, the less opportunity are given to the people that want to buy something and live the American dream, like my man living in Alafaya over there. And so this is one that was actually turned down, but then it sounds like they're going to come back in 30 days and try again. So after city objections, and this is from the Growth Spotter, developers will tweak plans from the rental townhome community in Winter Park. And this is actually just over by Winter Park Village. And basically they spent $4 million on the land, and they were trying to build 58 unit multi-family community. And these are nice. I mean, these look really nice. Like I get why a developer would try to go after this. But apparently they turned them down due to density concerns about compatibility and flooding. And so it's an interesting thing. I've been part of a lot of these redevelopments before. And if you go in front of the city and the city denies you, that's a huge problem. And you can't come back for like a certain amount of time. But if you say, whoa, it sounds like I'm about to get denied. Can you give me 30 more days to try to revise my plan and come try again? And then if you deny me, then you can deny me then. It's a really interesting process. And like that's why these developers make so much money. It's so intricate, and there's so many steps and so many moving parts. And then you get in front of the city council, and then they're either going to deny you or approve you with changes. So these guys said, hey, whoa, we look like we're going to get denied on this. And so maybe we're going to try to rework our plan a little bit and come back. Now, the owner said that, these would be rentals, Wilson told the planning board, and we found the need for Winter Park market for high-end quality rentals. And so, it's interesting. Winter Park is the highest price property in Central Florida. Do we need more rentals there? Maybe. I don't know. To me, it seems like maybe. Who knows? If you do think about luxury apartment buildings where there's just granite and like vinyl flooring and they call it luxury, these would actually be luxury. I mean, look at these things. They look fantastic. I wish that they would, let me click back over here. I wish that they would just sell them. And I bet you they would probably be like, they're 1,800 square feet, 2-car garage. They'd probably be $2 million plus for sure. But I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about this? If you had outside of your neighborhood, you had a developer that was like, hey, I was going to build 200 houses, but instead I'm going to create 200 rentals. Do you have a thought behind that? Am I just because I'm a real estate agent and I think that everybody should eventually try to strive for home ownership to build equity and pass that on and build for the future? Am I like crazy to think that these days, or are you there as well? Like I'm just kind of curious. Jeff said, I had a cranky day at work. Great to see your smiling face. Lots of good info. Thanks for bringing the good stuff. Dude, I appreciate it. I'm telling you, it was a long day. I had this packed schedule. If I showed you my calendar, you guys would be like, what the heck? I had one of those days where it was 15-minute increments all day long to the moment I clicked go live here. And then my little thing went awry, but here we are. Oh, this is a good question. So go wickless with Mel. Is that like scents? Is that like candles? Go wickless with Mel. All right. Since I lived there, do I think Celebration is worth buying in? You know what? I love Celebration. So we don't live there anymore. We lived there for 4 years and I really enjoyed it. We still have so many friends there, so many clients that have gone there. And you really are, I mean, it's a Kissimmee address, right? It's 34747. So you're living in Kissimmee, but it's a town of Celebration. It's a master plan community and they call it Celebration, but it's technically Kissimmee. So when you look at the average price per square foot for Kissimmee, And you compare that to Celebration. Celebration's like, almost twice as much. So what are you buying there? I think you're buying into like-minded individuals who are also like similar, maybe Disney fans that are also maybe a little bit affluent. And you're buying a piece of something that was a part of a Disney vision. And so is that worth it to you? Are the miles and trails and nature and pools and all that kind of stuff worth it to you? It's really a personal decision. The K-8 school there, my kids went there. We really enjoyed it. They've got a new school over in Island Village. The high school is getting reworked apparently. So yeah, I thought, and I think that it's worth it for me. And you just have to make a decision on like, hey, all things being equal, if I was going to move to Osceola County and I want a 4,000 square foot house, am I willing to, do I want to spend $1 million in Celebration or 550 or 600 over, somewhere else in Kissimmee? Totally your call. But I think it's worth it for me personally. Good. She says that she's a fragrance business, not just candles. We're wickless. Oh, that's very nice. Are you, wait. So are you one of those ones that like sell the scents? Like you sell like the Tower of Terror scent? Because I have not found the company that actually, when I get their candle and it's called like Tower of Terror, and I smell it, that I think of Tower of Terror or the Grand Floridian. Like there's these companies out there that sell these candles that are supposed to smell like the Grand Floridian, which actually means a lot to me. Like I love the Grand. You walk in and you smell that certain scent and you get an emotional reaction. And then I get the candle and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't smell anything like the Grand Floridian. I don't know. Jeeves Skywalker says, go to Celebration if you love the Disney bubble. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. I mean, you're literally World Drive, which goes directly into Disney World, dead ends into Celebration. And so if you want to be 10 minutes from Celebrate, 15 minutes to Magic Kingdom, man, what better place? Unless you've got Golden Oak money. If you've got Golden Oak money, then that's the only better place. Let's see. Aldous says, I'm looking to change careers altogether. I have a healthcare background. What can I do? Well, I mean, listen, I think that I know that Orlando Health is expanding and we work with some of their relocation team helping doctors and nurses move to the area, and they're still hiring. And so I know Advent Health, Orlando Health, and then a lot of like little practices. There's new little medical facilities going up everywhere. And I think this is actually great. More than likely they're owned by some big conglomerate, but it to me felt really good to see some like little standalone ERs popping up and standalone medical facilities and little mom and pop vibe popping up everywhere. So I think that with our population growth, there's more need for medical. So if you're moving to the area or looking for a change, there's lots of options. All right, Emmy checked in for the build to rent comment that I asked everybody to check in for. And so she says, it really depends on the person who's buying or renting. Only some people want to purchase or rent, and having the option to do both in any area, Orlando needs more housing overall. Well, listen, I 100% agree with that last sentiment. Orlando needs a lot more housing. And so for everybody that's saying they're paving paradise and putting up a parking lot, like, listen, people are coming. If you didn't see, I actually interviewed, I got to go to a ribbon cutting in Lake Nona and the mayor was there. And I got to ask the mayor a question at the end. And I said, hey, what do you say to all the people that are saying like Florida's closed, Orlando's closed, don't move here, there's too many people? And I thought his reaction was priceless. He said, well, they could talk to those 1,500 people that are moving here every week and let them know that regardless if they want them here or not, they're coming. And I thought that was interesting because that's true and we should prepare. And it's like, if you want to be part of an area that's growing and thriving, then you're here. And if you're like, no, I would rather be a part that's stagnant, there's plenty of places in the country that are that way. And 100%. Bernardo says, what are my thoughts on Heathrow in Seminole County? I think Heathrow's great. Lake Mary, Heathrow, Lake Mary, Heathrow, everything up through that area. I think the beautiful thing about it, the good and bad, is that it's tucked away, but it's very mature and you've got gated neighborhood back there, larger lots, larger estates. Many of them need a lot of work, but I think the investment in that area is a great idea. I think Heathrow is perfect for the person that kind of wants to be away from it all, but close enough if they want to be, because you're maybe 15, 20 minutes to, get downtown and maybe over to Winter Park and some of the different areas. I just don't know that the surrounding area, if you want to get 5 minutes to Publix or something really, really close, there's not as many creature comforts in that area. And that's actually by design. I think that that's what people want if they're living in the area. Beautiful homes, great area. Fantastic. She says, how about that ET scent though? ET scent would be good. All these rides, I'm telling you. I'm sorry. Emmy says I'm a he, him. I apologize. I said she. My daughter's name is Emmy. And so that's what got me. My fault. Sharon asks, how long does it take you to get to Gulfside beaches from Horizon West? It's tough. I mean, our Gulfside favorite is Marco Island, and it's like 3.5 hours away. You can get to Naples in a little over 3. You can go to St. Pete Beach in probably an hour and 40. Let's see, depending on traffic and time of day. Yeah, St. Pete Beach is an hour and 47 minutes away from where we are right now. What's another really good one that I would love? Clearwater, obviously super important, or super people love it. It's an hour and 47 minutes away. So yeah, hour and 47 minutes all the way down. Yeah, that's probably pretty much a straight shot across, or sort of down towards Tampa and over wire. But for us, we love Marco Island, Naples. Those are our favorites. That's our getaway spot. It's really not that hard to get to. It's like it's a pretty straight shot. Put on a little Audible, you're there in a minute. All right, let me get back over to the other questions. Gunny asks, what about the 5th gate? When will it happen? I don't know that a 5th gate is going to happen, Gunny. Not anytime soon. I would love to see a Villains Gate for sure. I think the next gate we're all excited about is over at Universal, which is going to be Epic Universe coming soon. But I would say that what's going to happen most likely first is going to be the Magic Kingdom expansion. And so you're going to have kind of behind Big Thunder Mountain and over by the island, Tom Sawyer Island back there, they're going to be expanding that back there and adding more other things that Josh DeMero is planning. Ooh, this is a great question. Thank you, Michael. Another question. He got his hand up. He says, can I talk about some differences between living in the city of Orlando versus unincorporated Orange County? So yeah, like we live in unincorporated Orange County. Like even though we live in Winter Garden, there's areas that basically are not governed. They're not inside the city themselves. And so your services come from the county level. Your sheriff, your fire and rescue, all that other kind of stuff comes from the county level on the unincorporated areas. And then, but we have like mailing addresses. Like I live in a Winter Garden mailing address, but we live in Horizon West, which is also in unincorporated Orange County. And so it can be a little bit confusing, but it really depends on like where your municipality is. Another interesting thing about Orlando that I didn't have elsewhere outside of Orlando was it was like the mayors. Like we have mayors of the county. And I think that that's because it really, they handle on the county level, but then they handle all the unincorporated stuff as well. And then like say Buddy Dyer is the mayor of Orlando. So he's the actual city of, and so Orange County is very weird that way. So is Osceola. Osceola has a lot of that stuff too. All right, I am going to go back and make sure I didn't miss any. I know I missed questions. I'm really trying. Let's see. All right, so Jacqueline asks, here's a good one. So our CLO recently released a top master plan communities for mid-2023, and Horizon West wasn't on the list. What are my thoughts? What's missing in Horizon West that Vera and Lakewood Ranch have? Man, that's that Jacqueline, that's a really good question. I'm actually going to look it up myself. I would be curious to see if that's a pay-to-play kind of thing, and is it all of Florida, all of the country? Because in terms of fastest growing, Horizon West was number 5 last year in the entire country. Fastest top 5 fastest growing master plan communities in the entire country. So I would be interesting to also see what they're ranking. Like, is it schools? Is it amenities? Is it simply just housing stock? What is it? But I'm going to check that out, and I'll definitely do a reel about it. So thank you for letting me know. Matt O says, what's your personal opinion? What's your personal opinion? Is referral agent good place to start your real estate career? I think you're asking, in my personal opinion, is being a referral agent a good place to start your real estate career? So for those watching, this is kind of like inside baseball. So if you have a real estate license and you're not really active, but you have say a family member that needs to buy or sell, you could refer that to a real estate agent that you know, and they'll give you a little slice of the commission. It's an interesting kind of thing. So he's asking, is that a good place to start? And being a real estate agent in itself is hard enough. The average realtor here sells like 2 houses a year. We'll sell like 500 houses a year. So like coming across a deal, being super part-time is probably not the best place to start. I would say there. So Joanna asks, which part of Florida would I say is more affordable to buy a house, Tampa or Orlando? So I actually did a video, Tampa versus Orlando, and the Tampa market was actually slightly more expensive. Housing, like cost of living, housing, everything all in, it was like maybe a couple percent more expensive to Orlando. So it really comes down to lifestyle. I know people are checking in, like more affordable, I would say, is Greater Orlando. I probably agree. But they're just looking at the actual statistics coming out of both cities. Greater Orlando is like a couple percent cheaper, nothing insane that you'd be like feeling it. I think you go for lifestyle at that point more than anything. Like, what's most important to you? Do you want to be on the bay, or do you want to be closer to Central Florida, maybe away from hurricanes, closer to the theme parks and that sort of thing? All right. I think. Oh, here we go. Y Superstar says, hey, thanks for the summer social. I met 2 awesome couples. That's awesome. I'm so glad. For those of you that don't know or didn't attend, we did a summer social over at Home State Brewing over in Hamlin area of Horizon West. Great little spot. Food is good. Beer was good. And we sponsored it as our real estate team. And it got more so than anything, like, yeah, we do client events, but I'm trying to create more community, because what we find is that people move to Orlando and they don't know anybody. And so because of that, it's hard to like sometimes get connected. Like, maybe you have school, or you get, Facebook groups for theme park nerds like myself, or maybe it's church or whatever it is that kind of gets you connected. But we've been trying to cultivate a little bit more community for our people. And that has been a lot of fun doing those events. So A, thanks for coming. And B, if you didn't come, hope to see you at the next one. And that's where I think I'm going to wrap up for tonight. I've got a couple other stories that we didn't get to, but I'm excited to hang out with you guys again next weekend. Thank you guys for the comments. Thank you guys for some of the insight stuff that I had not thought about before. And I'll make sure I bring that next week. See you guys. Have a great night.